Over the last couple months, I've really been struggling with the direction that I want to take my newsletter, my website, my little media hub that I'm trying to build. I feel like anytime someone starts a business or maybe a media venture, they have this idea in their mind of what they want to look like. But then once they start building it, they reach a point where maybe they start second guessing themselves or pivot or change direction a little bit. And I feel like I'm kind of in that position right now. So I want to take a few minutes here and take this opportunity to talk out a little bit more about what I've been thinking, my thoughts on the direction I want to head, and kind of just what's been going through my mind about the future of the Simple American. So where I started was, and the newsletter started because I wanted a media outlet, a news outlet where I could catch people up on the news of the day quickly and in an unbiased way. So the newsletter I write, called The Simple American, is a daily news brief, and it is a 1 to 2 minute read. It's the biggest things that happen in the day that revolve around politics, economics, and business, and they're just in bullet point form. So it's literally super quick. Each thing's 1 to 2 sentences long, and it's just a quick daily news brief. So that catches you up quickly. The second thing with being unbiased, that goes back to my frustration with kind of news in general, and I just wanted something to tell me what happened straight out. No spinning it, no giving your opinions, like anything like that. I just wanted someone to tell me what happened. That was it. So that was kind of what I've been trying to do. I've been trying to write each day the newsletter in an unbiased way where I'm simply as simple as possible, simply stating what happened. And, sometimes I have to give a little bit more detail. If there's two sides of the story, I want to make sure I'm including both of those so that I'm not showing any bias and I'm sharing the entire story in one bullet point. So that's kind of where the newsletter started, and that's what I'm still doing. I have kind of come to the realization that, a totally unbiased, news outlet is kind of impossible. So I'm still trying my best with that. I think that people really appreciate the fact that I'm trying to write it in an unbiased format and not really share opinions or try to, make people think one thing or the other or push anything down their throats or anything like that. Now, the website I've been building, which is called Simple American News, and I want to and want to do this more down the road, as I'm using my newsletter that has, almost 14,000 subscribers to push traffic to my website. The website is for news article curation and blog posts. So I have a couple blog posts on there that I've written myself. I talk one about, making a case for Bitcoin. I talk one about, the Federal Reserve Chairman. But mostly it's for news curation. So I go and I read articles done by, Politico, TechCrunch, The Hill, NBC, Fox, CNN, whatever. Every media outlet I try to include for the most part, and I take those articles and I break them down and make them into 2, 3, 4 paragraphs. So it's a lot more information than like the bullet you get in my newsletter. But at the same time, it's not going to take you 10 minutes to read. You're not getting an ad popped up in your face every other second. And it's a lot easier to get through, but you're getting more information than you would get in my newsletter. So that's kind of the idea. Breaking down longer form articles from specific media companies, from specific news outlets in a much simpler and easier way. So that's kind of the idea behind the website. And that's where I am right now. I have the newsletter and I have my website. And so I'm kind of stuck because I don't know what direction to go. I don't know where I should take the newsletter. I don't know what's my next step from here. Obviously, yeah, I want to continue growing my newsletter. I want to get AdSense hooked up to my website, and I want to drive traffic to my website for all the articles that I'm curating up there. And that's great. But at the same time, I feel like I'm still missing something. I feel like there's still something that needs to be done. And so what I've been thinking on a couple of different fronts, and one of the ideas I had was like kind of putting a face behind it. So I was going to make it into more of a personal brand type thing where like I start sharing in public like my ideas, what I think about things, where I stand on certain topics, and kind of put my face in front of the Simple American. Now, I'm a little bit reluctant to do that just because I don't want that to turn people away from my newsletter if I start sharing my own opinions on things. Everything that goes on in the day, whether it be politics or economic, policy or business news, like I have opinions on it. I have strong opinions, and sometimes stuff angers me, sometimes I'm happy about it, and I want to talk about it. I want to share my thoughts and feelings about it because I have a lot to say. But at the same time, with the newsletter, nothing would change. I'm still simply going to state what happens simply, easy, quickly, and as unbiased as possible. So me sharing my own personal thoughts and feelings and stances on particular topics wouldn't really change how I'm writing the newsletter. However, I feel like it could conflict. And then if people start writing the newsletter and they even get a sense that there could be some bias, or because they know where I stand in certain things, they are going to think that I'm writing it in a particular way, which I wouldn't be. But that's why I'm a little bit reluctant to make it about me, or be more open about how I feel about topics and how I feel about politics and economics and all that, just because I'm a little bit nervous. I don't want people to get turned off by the newsletter. That was one way I was kind of thinking of heading. I also don't know, like, should I niche the newsletter down a little bit? Or should I niche the website down a little bit? When I originally started it, it was for, younger kids in college that were just looking to catch up on the news of the day quickly, because college kids, I found, just really aren't sitting down to read the news or read longer form articles or even watch any news on TV, no matter what channel, whether it be Fox, CNN, MSNBC, whatever. No one was really sitting down to do that. So I really started this for college kids to get caught up in the news of the day quickly. But as it's grown and my subscriber list has increased, I have people in there that are younger college students. I have people that are like in their 40s in the workforce, and I have a lot of older people, believe it or not, that just like reading about the news, like reading different things in their free time. So I don't know if I should maybe niche down and really try to focus on Gen Z, like news that would be impacting Gen Z and stuff that would involve things that are more relevant in their life. I don't know, should I kind of start focusing on a certain sector, whether it be like really just dialing in on like politics, like economic policy or anything like that? Or should I make the newsletter like a little bit more colorful, or should I add some humor? Should I, add some personality to it? Because really what I'm doing right now is I am simply stating what's going on. So like, for example, if something happens, so for example, like GE Appliances announces they're going to invest $3 billion in their U.S. manufacturing. Like, that's what I say. GE Appliances announces $3 billion investment in U.S. manufacturing. That's it. Like, there's no spin on, there's no personality, there's no humor. And same thing goes with like kind of politics. Like, for example, this Trump's meeting with Putin in Alaska. I literally would say President Trump has announced he will be meeting with Russian President Putin in Alaska on August 15th. That's it. Like, I'm not really getting into anything. I'm not spinning it. I'm not adding any personality. There's no humor. There's nothing. So I kind of think like maybe I could spice up the writing a little bit, make it a little bit more, have some flair a little bit. But I'm not sure. I don't want to lose the audience. I don't want to piss off the audience that's been loyal to me, that likes what I'm doing right now, for the hopes of kind of change something, and I don't know if it's going to work. In the grand scheme of things, what I'd really like to do with The Simple American is build infrastructure for a lot of independent journalists to kind of come in and start writing and creating content and reporting and sharing on whatever they like, whatever's interesting to them. So like, if someone wants to come under the roof of The Simple American and they want to talk about far left economic policy, go ahead. If someone wants to scrutinize government financial data, go ahead. If someone wants to talk kind of general politics, what's Trump saying, how are the Democrats reacting, go ahead. If someone wants to talk, libertarianism and how it relates to what's going on today, go ahead. And I kind of want to bring all these independent journalists under one roof to give them the infrastructure, the resources, the ability to just focus on the journalism, just focus on the writing and the content, and also give them the ability to collaborate with people that they might disagree with or people they agree with, so they can kind of work together and kind of form a little bit of a town square for journalism and news. I don't really love the word town square, the saying town square, because, I feel like that's what Elon Musk was kind of saying when he first was trying to buy Twitter, was that he wanted to, make it a town square for free speech kind of. But I feel like the issue there is you get a lot of bots, you get a lot of trolls or people that are trying to piss people off, or, have an anonymous account and they're just riling people up in their basement about politics. Like, I don't want that. Like, I want serious people that are doing serious research and talk about serious things to have a forum to say what they're looking into, to say what they're, doing reporting on or anything like that. So that's kind of what I think. I think the idea of bringing a lot of independent journalists, sharing their face, like their own brand, inside the hub of The Simple American would be like an ultimate goal that I kind of have with what I want to do. I'm a big believer in journalism. I like when people are kind of diving into different things, like doing their own digging, their own research, and so I'd really love for people to come under and do it under the Simple American. That's what I kind of have an idea for, maybe in the long run, just giving that infrastructure and like resources for people, kind of a little bit like kind of like a Barstool Sports in a way, where it's like, people follow the people that are under the hub of Barstool Sports. Whether it be like Frank the Tank or, Big Cat. But at the same time, they're all under Barstool Sports, but people know those figures like individually, right? Brianna Chicken Fry is another good example. So it's maybe something like that for news and for journalism. So that's kind of my idea. Kind of want to talk to you guys a little bit about, the struggling with the direction. I don't really know where to go. I feel like I'm stuck a little bit, but I'm still being consistent, still writing the newsletter every day, still posting on my website every day. So feel free to check it out, simpleamericannews.com. You can subscribe to the newsletter there. Thank you guys for watching this video, and we'll see you guys next time.